Hello, my lovely little droplets. I'm here today with the deck profile that I promised. With one of my favorite decks. It's my personal pet deck. I love it. But it's Ritual Beast, or RB for short. To not get it confused with the archetype called RB coming out soon. But anyways, let's hop into this. So, you run one Lara, one of the little Laras. She's okay. She's mostly there just for a tamer name, in my opinion. She's just there for another tamer name. So you don't really use her. You just use her just to banish her and have an extra name ready, so you can tag out with your other stuff. And then one of the best cards they ever got is the bigger Lara. Or you can call her Mommy Lara, but I just call her Big Lara. She is such an amazing card. She is such an amazing card. She does so much for the archetype. She does an extra normal summon when your normal summon gets stopped. She protects, and then she triggers off herself, which is really good as well. So she does a lot for her archetype. So when she's banished, you can special summon a Ritual Beast from your deck, either a tamer or a beast, doesn't matter. So, and she also triggers when she banishes herself from the field or graveyard to protect your board. So she triggers herself, which is really good. Or you could discard her, and immediately after the effect summon resolves, you normal summon again. So all three effects are very, 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 very good for the deck. And you have to run her at 3 because she's that good. One up Max Sleep, not much to say. We could just move on. 3 Elder. So this is probably the second best card of the deck, maybe third. You could argue Kanahawk is probably like the second best, but main deck wise. But you run triple Elder, so you can do your combo. When he's normal summon, you can ritual summon you can normal summon another Ritual Beast monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You only gain the effect once per turn. It doesn't activate. The funniest thing ever is when you normal summon Elder and your opponent imperms, you're like, sick. Anyways, normal summon. You normal summon again, since it's just a condition to normal summon. So the only way to technically stop this is if they have skill drain before you normal summon. But if you normal summon then they change skill drain, you still get the normal summon. But he's a very normal, very, very normal like card in the archetype. And then Nemesis Flag to search your corridor, so you can go into your Colossus. That's pretty much what the deck. That's the only reason why I'm running the flag. You could run Protos, but me personally, I do not like running Protos blind, if that makes sense. I don't like going blind first with a Protos, especially in this meta, since there's so many different attributes that you could call. So it's not worth running blind Protos at the moment, unless you like back in tier format, blind Protos was fine, or like Sprite format, blind Protos was fine, or like your belt format was fine. But in this current meta, not really needed to run Protos at the moment. Then the 1-win, she's part of your main combo. She's really good to summon your penguin usually when you're comboing off and all that good stuff. When she's normal summon, you can target one of your Ritual Beast monsters that is banished, special summon it. The effect is not once per turn, so you can normal summon her twice and get the effect twice, which is pretty nice. Which sometimes does happen, not all the time, but sometimes it does. But she's just a fine one-up since she's very searchable. 3 Ash, not much to say about this. It's just really good. It's just really good. It's just to counter Maxi, counter the Fulas, counter like anything random. So it's obvious. So the next 2 cards are kind of the bricks of the deck, but they're kind of needed because they help out the deck in different ways. Apelio, very normal. You can banish a Ritual Beast card from your graveyard as cost, which is kind of important sometimes. And then it gives your attack boost by 500 attack and defense for the turn. And then if you can normal summon him or special summon him twice, or normal summon him in multiple times through your combo, the effect stacks, which is really nice. And then the funny board breaker. It's a brick because it doesn't do anything by itself, but it can break boards by itself when you hard open it with Elder, Penguin, and like any Ritual Beast name. It's very funny when it's slowly breaking the boards. It's very funny. But it's a one-of since it's pretty bricky. Since it really doesn't do anything if you're going first. So, same thing with Apelio. It doesn't really do anything if you're going first. So it's not worth it to run multiple of these. And then the main starters of the deck is Kanahawk, your main bread and butter of the combo. So he's a Gold Sark when you activate him. He's basically a Gold Sark, so you can banish your Tamer or you can banish a beast, it doesn't matter. This card's a 1-card combo by itself, so you can just go Kanahawk, banish Lara, special Elder, and combo off from there. Same thing with Rampengu, he's also a 1-card combo for your thing, but he's a Foolish Burial instead of a Gold Sark. So you can banish a Ritual Beast monster from your extra decks and a Ritual Beast monster with the same type of the monster. So usually you want to banish either your Link 2, that's the Psychic, so you could dump the Lara. You usually banish that if this is your only starter. And then you just tag into your Nursery Draco and then you combo off. And like I could give you like the basic Elder Kanahawk combo. That's probably your best opener in the game. Best opener in the deck. Normal summon Elder, normal summon Kanahawk, and then
one eternity later.
And then you end on your Link 4, your Thunder Dragon Colossus, and IP with a tag out, with Nursery Draco as a tag out, with Steeds, all of 2 cards. Which is really, really, really good. You can do the same thing with Elder Penguin, but Elder Kanahawk is probably your best one. And then you run your one Winda. She counts as a Tamer and a Ritual Beast, so it helps out in diversity like that. But she's also kind of cheeky because you can crash into her, summon your Link 4, which is kind of funny. But she's just there mostly for a name. So like most of the Moanas of the deck are just there to be names, like for your combo. Since all of these have the restriction, they can only be special summoned once per turn. Not the big ones, only the little ones can be special summoned once per turn. So you just have to keep track of your combo. I already went over Corridor for what's the reason. It helps you shuffle your names back if you really want to. But it's mostly there just for Colossus. He's an honorary Ritual Beast. And then Fua, because you need to go when you go second. Fua is really good. Fua Maxi, like you just need your things. Now for the most cuttable card of the deck, in my opinion, I just run it just to be funny, but you could definitely cut this, but I don't see why not. You can also run the 1 shifter. I just don't have a shifter. But you can definitely run the 1 shifter instead of the 3 fisher, since shifter is technically better. Well, not technically, it is better. But yeah, you can run fisher since your since Rampengu could send under fisher. So, and your deck doesn't really care about getting your stuff banished. So you could definitely run fisher and be fine. Counters a lot of decks besides, I guess, Vanquishable in a sense. And then this is your Rhoda, Ritual Beast Inheritance. Your opponent's monsters lose 200 attack for each different types. Since your deck is different types, this is a Psychic, this is a Pyro, this is an Aqua, this is a Beast, this is a Thunder. Like all the Tamers are Psychics, but all the Beasts are different types. And then you can reveal Ritual Beast monster from your hand. add a Ritual Beast monster with a different type, then discard a card. It could be any card, it could be a Dead Fool if you want. It doesn't have to be the one that you reveal. And then the most niche effect that sometimes comes up, but not really. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Is if 2 or more monsters are special summoned to your field at the same time, except during the damage step, basically, aka when you tag out, essentially. You can target one monster on the field, change its battle position, since when you tag out, they come in defense. But sometimes you can do a cheeky OTK when you tag out. Use this, change it to attack and attack per game. Or you can tag out, put something in defense so it can protect your board. So it's just a Rhoda mostly. And the attack drop is not that bad either. It comes in handy. 3 E-Tele, since all your stuff is is able to use E-Tele as that window. Everything else you can E-Tele. And it's just another starter of the deck, but it is pretty bad since it does eat up a name, since the name can only be summoned once per turn. But having more starters is never bad. And then a card that's really good in this format and in this deck, since you can fusion face down, like we could go over it more later, but Eclipse is really good to beat out an Ash. If it doesn't, it answers the board. It forces an answer regardless, since it's a very strong card. And then you can do your plays whenever, since you could contact fusion face down. So it's just a really, really good board breaker. And then for the quick play, you can banish your Ritual Beast monsters you control, especially summon a Ritual Beast from your Ritual Beast monster from your extra deck and start ignoring summoning conditions. This is, I don't know, I love and hate this card. I like it because it's really good, since it can cheat out your Link 4. Since it's not specifically fusion only, it could cheat out your Link 2. Usually your Link 4. Or if you're trying to just go for a game, you want to summon your big guy and attack per game. But it banishes as cost, which is the bad thing. So if you banish as cost in the impulse, you just lose 2 bodies just to get stopped by impulse. But it's searchable, so it's not the worst. 1 Call By, just to answer your stuff, since you lose to draw. You lose to a lot of stuff, but Call By is there to hopefully draw and out whatever you lose to. Yeah, the 1 Seeds, probably the best interruption in the deck, since it's a non-target destroy monsters up to a number of Ritual Beasts. So usually you want to do Chainlink 1 Steeds, Chainlink 2 Tag Out, so you can pop more cards, since it checks on Resolution to destroy the monsters on the field. And it's non-target, so it's really, really, really good. So you can pop up to fucking like four different cards, 4 monsters. So it's really, really good. But it's 1, since you can recycle it, and it's searchable. You turn shit in your main combo. And the last card for the main deck, Infinite Impermanence. This just helps you go in second. It helps. So like if you know you can break the board, you just hold it for your turn, and then imperm on your turn, and then you slowly start breaking the board. That's it for the main deck. I am very happy with the main deck. The thing, like I said, if you want a 41, just cut the D fissures, and it will feel more smoother in my opinion. But fissures wins you games, because what did we do? We played Floodgates. But yeah, Fissure is really good. But it is cuttable. Now, for the extra deck, you run Ultia Pelio. It's basically just a beat stick. It's just, you usually banish it off of Rampengu if you want to dump your Lion. That's usually what it's there for. You can summon it, but keep in mind when it attacks, it becomes unaffected by card effects, even your own. So if it's getting boosted by a Pelio and it attacks, it loses the attack boost since it's part of the effect. It's unaffected by other card effects until the end of the damage step. That's the shitty part about this card. Like, even if you boost it by like 1,000, it could go up to 36, which is really big. But when you attack, it loses the attack boost, which kind of sucks and kind of pointless. So it's just usually there just to banish off a Rain Pingu to dump your lion so you can combo off. And then the heart and soul of this deck, which would be Salty Kanahawk. It is your heart and soul of the deck. It adds you the cards. It's your searcher. It's not once per turn. That's why you can just abuse it and loop it to an extent. That's why you cycle through all your names. And basically you just target 2 of your banished Ritual Beast cards, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1. So what you do is target 1 that you want to go to the grave, and target the one that you're going to tag out with. So like for example, when I'm doing my basic combo, Kanahawk usually banishes Lara, so I contact fusion by banishing all of these Ritual Beast monsters. Could be summoned by banishing the materials that you have on your field. So what I do is banish Elder, banish Kanahawk since I already banished off the Lara, summon Kanahawk. Kanahawk targets Elder and Lara to return to the graveyard and to add. Then I chain to tag out, summoning Elder and Kanahawk. And then the first effect resolves, it returns Lara to the graveyard. As long as 1 card returns to the graveyard, you get to search. So that's your main way of quote-unquote cheating and getting value out of your ulti Kanahawk. But you go through them a lot of times through the combo. Like a lot. Sometimes you even end on them. And then next card, Ritual Beast Ulti Nurture Draco. Such a good card in itself. It you can contact fusion it by either banishing on your field and or your graveyard. Usually you summon you banish materials from your graveyard and then summon this. It's a really good extender. If you get stopped midway through, it's a good extender. You can tag out. The only thing is, they had to make it more balanced for a good reason. Is it can only tag out into 1 body. Unlike all the other fusions, it tags out into 2 bodies. This one only tags out into 1. And then Colossus, not much to say. Just a floodgate. And then we have Ritual Beast Ulti Galileo. It takes a Ritual Beast Ulti monster, a Ritual Beast Tamer, and a Ritual Beast. It is possible to summon it. Then if you summon it properly, it becomes an Omni Negate, and it's not once per turn. As long as you have Ritual Beast cards in your hand, you can negate it as many times as you want. Only if it's properly fusioned. So if you summon it off of Ritual Beast Spawn, you do not get the effect to negate. just a reminder. And then Flame Banshee to search your flag to get into your floodgate. Typhon. Sometimes it's a surrender button, sometimes it's not, but it's just nice to have. And then the card that you go into to combo off is your Kimuin Falcon. You can banish a Ritual Beast card, normal summon a Ritual Beast from your hand. Usually you banish your Penguin, summon Wind effect, summon back your Penguin, and combo off. And this is the link that could tag out as well. And sometimes if you banish your Link 2 when you Link 4, and you banish with your Pelio, your Nurture Draco could tag into this, and this could turn into 2 bodies. So it's really nice to have. Usually you banish one of them off of your Rampingu so you get your combo in. IP, just end board piece. Then you have your SP, so you could have more interruptions. And then your Link 4, it's really good. You have other contribute cards to activate cards or effects, so it stops something random like Requiem. It stops like, funny enough, it stops Mitsurugi, funny enough. They can't tribute for prayers, which is really funny. They can't tribute to protect, which is really funny. So it's just stops something random, and then it's a quick effect banish. Target banish rich. Well, that's 2 effects. On your turn, you can target a banish Ritual Beast card. Basically, you can recycle your steeds if it's banished since you can banish it with a Pelio. You can add back your steeds. And then you can normal summon you can, so it's not mandatory. So if you just want to add, you don't have to normal summon. But if you do, you can add it to your hand, and then you can normal summon again if you want. And then during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target a virtual beast you control, and when card your opponent controls, banish them. So what you could do is, if you want to banish something, you target your ulti Konohawk and a card they want to banish. If they have no response, you chain your Konohawk to tag out into 2 bodies, and then this still resolves to banish. So, really neat trick. You don't have to banish your stuff. Or you can activate Steeds. And then if you just want to get rid of one of their back rows, since this only pops monsters, you can target the Steeds with this, and then banish any card on the field that you want to get rid of. Really good. And that's pretty much the whole deck profile. I really love this deck. And then I'm gonna have another deck profile later for my other favorite deck, aka Malice. So stay tuned for that. And if you do want to see duels for any of these decks that I do a deck profile on, let me know. It's gonna take me some time to find people to actually sit through my combo. But if you are interested how this deck plays and how this deck combos, let me know. I could definitely record, and then I could actually commentate over them, so I could tell you what's my thought process and how I combo. But until then, guys, take care. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.